Hi, welcome to Social Work 633. This is week 1, and this video is to give you an overview of this upcoming week and things to think about as you work through the initial material in our course. And so in this week, we're really starting to look at systems theory when it's applying to families, and really trying to think about some of the earliest pioneers in this family work. Virginia Satir is really kind of known as one of the founders of family work, and really begins to look at the family as a unit and the complexity of the dynamics, and specifically around communication patterns. So I love this quote by Jay Haley, who is one of Virginia Satir's contemporaries, that reminds us how we define the problem is how we define the solution. So in this phase of our course, we're really thinking about, through a systems lens, how we assess families. So for this week, if you look at the objectives, our readings and media, what we are focusing on is to give you a chance to really think through examples of how some of those key concepts of the systems theory that you've known and loved so far can be applied to family systems. We want you to be able to describe the tasks that are associated with at least one of the 6 stages in a family life cycle. Knowing that we have very unique families and not all families pass through each stage. We want you to be able to identify how the understanding of the family life cycle stages can assist a worker when they're in assessment and goal setting. To have a chance to describe how your own experiences in a family may impact your feelings or behaviors with clients, especially as you do family work. And last of all, one of our objectives is giving you a chance to identify one of the most useful takeaway points from an article that you're reading. And we give you options for your reading, either Goldberg or Carter and McGoldrick, which you'll see below. So you can see that the required readings for this week are in our books. And you'll see we have a reading, chapter 2 in Minuchin. And we also have chapters that are listed under here. If you click the links, you'll see it will load a chapter. And we have a chapter 1 in Carter and McGoldrick. You will see an article, Dysfunction in the Family of Origin of MSW and Other Graduate Students. So it's always interesting to read about families, and especially when it can apply to us. And we have some chapters in Virginia Satir's book, her 1983 book, Joint Family Therapy, and also Patterns of Communication. So those are the required readings, and then we ask that you choose one of the following readings, either the Expanded Family Life Cycle in Carter McGoldrick or Working with Lesbian and Gay Parents and Their Children. So you can choose either one of those. We do provide a website. We want you to skim through, get familiar with the Satir Institute of the Pacific, and then you'll see a video below. And this is typical for many of our weeks. We have readings that are both chapter contents, articles, and then a video. And together they really provide a holistic picture of the model we're looking at that week. And for this, you just want to log into the Widener Wolfgram Library website. So you will need your research card barcode along with your full name. And there is a little bit of a video about how to access it if you don't know how. But this is really a video about a family of 4, and there's lots of parenting and lots of communication issues, and you'll see how Satir really masterfully works with this family and shifting communication patterns. The next piece is a family systems theory resource, and this gives you just a clearer sense of systems theory and how it relates to family systems. That's just an extra resource for you to be able to look at. And then we head to your first discussion of week 1, and this is really introductions. So what I'm asking you to do is record and post a link to your YouTube video. And this introduction should be 2 to 3 minutes long. It should include your name, your first year field placement, and or your most recent job title. I want to hear about what your experience has been in working with families in either that job or field placement. And then give me a little sense of the basic structure of the family system or systems in which you were raised. So you can share as much as you're comfortable sharing. Tell us one role you have played in your own family and how this role might impact your work with client families. And so you can kind of see the introduction model that I gave in my initial overview of the course video, and you can do the same. And last of all, just include any burning questions that you might have about family work that you're hoping that I can answer in this course. And so we progress on after this to our next discussion forum. And in this discussion forum, it really is giving you a chance to think about family systems and family life cycle. And to that end, what we want you to do is read the Widener Social Work Shared Case. You may have encountered this case before. It is the case of Anita. And from that, apply one of the 6 stages that you'll read in Carter and McGoldrick in Chapter 1 of the Expanded Family Life Cycle. And what we want you to do is describe a type of problem that a family may encounter completing the tasks of that stage and how a worker might help that family. And so you'll focus on Anita's family at first, and then you'll look at the family stage and really try to describe a type of problem a family might encounter in that stage. Last of all, just provide one example of a life cycle challenge faced by either a gay or lesbian family or remarried family that's similar to what's being described in Goldberg or Carter and McGoldrick chapters. So you're really using your readings and working to apply it. To that point, I really want to see that you're integrating and synthesizing your reading into your post. So use it as a basis for your argument that you make through your posting. And second, in your response, which is due by Sunday at midnight, just respond to at least one classmate, someone who hasn't had responses yet, and tell us what have you learned from your classmates' post and what you can add to their learning, and simple ways to add information to your classmates' learning sometimes are linking them to an article or an additional research or resource, presenting an alternate view from what they have, or asking a question. All of these are ways that deepen that critical thinking. And so this is really what I want to see in that responsive posting. What I don't want to see is just great post. I agree with everything you've said. I really like how you mentioned this. We're really looking for evidence of critical argumentation here, and analyzing things and presenting a dialogue to happen in the discussion forum. In our third discussion forum of the week, you are asked to reflect on the Satir video that you are assigned in our initial media portion. And so what I'd like for you to do is just answer all the following questions. How would you describe the communication style of various family members? How did Satir use herself as a model of healthy communication? And what are 2 examples you saw of how she attempted to help members be healthier communicators with each other? And of course, I ask you to also respond to a classmate. We continue on to the first submission of the Family Therapy Theory Grid. And what you'll see for this week is that you're looking at systems theory and the systems approach to families. And so you'll fill out this theory grid, and you'll see a template that is in our major assignment section. If you open that up, you can see it opens to a Microsoft Word document. And so when you go to submit it, you will actually submit it as a Microsoft Word document that is filled in. As time goes on, you may have less and less room, so I encourage people to organize it graphically, horizontally, and also minimize the font to make sure that you're able to have a visual organization of some of these theories. And what you'll see is that my Word document is opening very slowly, so it may not be able to show you the template. Oh, there it goes. So you'll see here that we have each week, week 1 through 6. And so for this first week, you were asked to talk about really the systems approach and the way communication is used within this. And so list at least 4 main ideas with this theory. Give us a 1-sentence description of what those 4 main ideas are. Next, talk about interventions employed. So 4 specific interventions used by a worker who's following this theory for practice. I want you to speak about cross-cultural considerations, and this is really, would this work with all types of families? And think about culture in a really broadly defined way, not just ethnic or racial culture, but really, when we think about gay or lesbian families, when we think about families that follow different religious practices, so all elements of culture, nationality and different makeup of families. Does it fit very specific types of families? And if not, which type of families would it not fit in with? And I ask that you just do include citations in this, and really try to think through whether this theory and approach is appropriate and what are the pros and cons of it. With this, I've started to see as the weeks progress that people have found it easier to actually flip the grid and have the different weeks on the left side going from top to bottom, and the theories across the top. So this is an option. I'm okay with you organizing how you want to, as long as you're maintaining the central elements that we're looking for. For the final 2 pieces of week 1, you will see that we ask you to complete a survey. This is for our CSWE reaccreditation. This is what allows the Widener program to be seen as an accredited body of social work practice and education. And this is really seen as the gold standard for social work programs. So if you can complete this survey, it is optional, but we strongly suggest that you're able to do so. And after this, we present you with just a little chance for some self-care. Below is a self-care video, and this is talking about meditation for beginners. It's a short video, only 6.5 minutes, but we want to give you a chance to de-stress and debrief from all of this thinking that you're doing in this very first week. So this is the week 1 overview. As always, if you have any questions or needs for support, please reach out. We can schedule a call, a Zoom meeting, or talk as a class together. And I look forward to connecting with each of you and seeing your introductions.